Okay, very good. So today, like I said, we're going to give some advice. We love you guys and want to help you not make the same mistakes we made. So today we're going to talk about, most of you are students, and most of you, it's coming to that time where you're going to receive your NSFAF money. We want to talk about how to give you some advice on how to utilize that money well. All right. Over the years, we have seen lots of students make a lot of mistakes with this money. I've heard of students give all that money to the church. Can you believe that? We're not going to tell you to do that. That is a big mistake. We've heard of students give 10% of that money to the church. Not going to tell you to do that either. We've seen students take that money and buy a new expensive $5,000, $9,000 phone. We want to help you not make some of the same mistakes. We've had students who've even taken money and built some at their home or in the village. Is that wise to do that? And we want to help you. We love you guys, want to give you some advice, and we want to look at what the Bible has to say to help you kind of through this time and having a little bit of money to help you and not make some mistakes. Most of you are aware, you guys go grocery shopping, everything's getting expensive, isn't it? Bread is now $15, used to be 10 2 years ago. I mean, your toiletries, soap, everything, clothes, everything you need to live on is getting more expensive. And what that means is we have to be more wise with your money. Okay? We need to recognize that this is the reality that we live in. And if things are getting more expensive, you need to plan well with the money that you have so that you can afford these things that you need to live, continue to move on. So we just have to recognize everything is more expensive. And the Bible gives us a lot of good advice about money. And we're going to look at several verses here in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs is a book in the Old Testament about wisdom. It gives a lot of good advice. And we're going to look at several passages here about money, because don't you want to live a wise life? So let's look at it. Let's let God help us, give us instructions on how to live a good life. So Proverbs 21:5. If you're taking notes, let me just read it here. It says, good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. The word hasty, it just means quick. Quick or fast shortcuts lead to poverty. So what we can learn here is really to plan well. Plan well and work hard. And so in this area of your money, you need to learn to plan well. Recognize food's more expensive, toiletries are more expensive, all the more it's needed to plan well. And when it comes to planning your money, what we call that a budget. Okay, a budget. And a budget is simply just planning how you're going to spend or use your money. There's three things you can do with your money: give, spend, save. Can you say those three with me? Give, spend, save. Right? And a budget is just planning out your giving, your spending, your saving. So we want to give you a couple. You have to plan it out. Plan out your monthly, your thing. Here's a good tool if you want to save money. You go to the ATM once. You withdraw all the money that you need for that 1 month to avoid the bank charges. Then what you take all that money that you need, maybe it's 500 or whatever your budget is, and you just take a piece of paper and just folded it in half and stapled it. Then the money that you're going to use for food that month, you put it inside. And you make little envelopes like this for your different expenses, how you're going to spend. So if this is your budget, 200 for food, then you would put a $200 in it. And then for toiletries, you're going to make a new one of these and just write toiletries. And then you put however much is you're going to spend on toiletries that month. Soap, lotion, etc. If that's 100, you put that in. And then you have just a bunch, however many you need of these. And when you buy food, you take out that money for food, and whatever's remaining, you put the money back. Now, what happens when the money's gone? There's no food left. Okay? And you need to stick to your budget. You have to stick to the plan. Because when you get $2,000 in your bank account, wow, I feel rich. Wow. But if you plan well, like the Bible says, it can lead to a better life, a little bit of prosperity. You'll feel better rather than being poor. So look here at this simple budget. 200 for food, 100 for toiletries, $50 for taxi, but you try and walk just to save money, right? Maybe you want to get your hair done for $150, and maybe you also have $50 just set aside to buy the $20 away, just in case you have like a group assignment where you need to call your group members. But maybe now there's Wi-Fi. Many times you don't even need OA, right? You can just communicate over the Wi-Fi. So let's look, this is just 2, 3, 4, $550 a month. But is that a reasonable budget? Could you live off of that as students? No? Okay, maybe not. But I think you get the idea. If you need to adjust those, you can adjust it. And maybe but just try and save your money. Just try and create a budget where you can live very practically. Because maybe your money will come through at 2,000. Well, try and spread out that 2,000 as long as you can. If you can make that last for 2 or 3 months in your budget, and do that. Plan wisely so that you can do that. Okay? Doesn't that make sense? But you have to plan. You really have to plan, because you'll get excited when you see all that money in your bank account. But that's where it takes self-control. Discipline yourself. Come up with a system. Make that money last you as long as you can. Okay? Try and really save your money. Bad things happen. Thieves just across the street, the house got robbed last night. Stole a microwave and a phone. You never know what can happen. It's good to have savings. You can drop your phone and it can crack. It's good just to have savings to fix your screen. You have to plan that. Right? And if you need help, we're here to help you with it. We're not going to tell. That's why we didn't put the box out here. We're talking about money. We don't even want you to give today. We want you to plan well. We love you guys, and we don't want to take your money. We want you to live a nice life and learn how to plan so you can take care of yourself as adults. Right? Here's some other advice or things to consider. Most of you are teachers and have SBS, right? Well, at SBS, you need to wear nice teaching clothes, right? Well, you can use some of your money to go to the Oshakati open market and buy your clothes. They sell very cheap clothes there. And if you just look, you can find very good quality and new clothes. My wife is laughing, I'm embarrassing her. But look at these trousers. Look at these. They're dirty. They need to be, I pulled them out of the wash. But I just want to show you, these, aren't these nice? $50. Can you believe that? These are brand new, it's strong material, very strong, for $50. So you plan well. You can get some good deals out there. And since you can buy the same clothes that you're going to wear to school as at SBS. Try and save your money. Buy a shirt that you can wear on SBS and that you can wear to school. You don't have to have 10 different clothes and uniforms. Try and be smart, plan well, save your money. And this kind of goes with the next verse here. Proverbs 14, verse 8. We'll just read this together. Or not together, but let me just read it. The wisdom of the sensible is to understand his way, but the foolishness of short-sighted fools is deceit. I know that's kind of confusing. Let me just break that down so you can understand. Okay, we all want to be wise, right? Make good choices. Well, a sensible person recognizes where you are in your life. You understand your way. Your way, most of you right now are students. You, as students, life is pretty difficult, isn't it? And you have to understand that, okay, this is my life right now. I have to plan and live according to where I am in this point in my life. And if you understand that, it will really help you. But here's what happens. And that's where this advice comes in. You understand you don't have a lot of money. Your family has to pay for expensive food also. They don't have a lot of money to help you either. And we understand this point where we are. And so you try, as students, you try and make wise choices. You try and plan. Buy clothes that you can use for SBS and at school. Live in a budget. Make smart choices. If you don't, here's the second part. The foolishness of short-sighted fools is deception. It's deceit. So let's explain that. Short-sighted means quick. You're going to get your SBS loan, $2,000, and the short-sighted fool is going to take that money and woohoo, I'm rich. Let me go and buy a new phone. Yes. That's a short-sighted design. Maybe your phone is just fine. Make it work. You don't need to go and waste that money on short-sighted desires. A new phone, or if your family wants you to build that home, or the church is telling you, yeah, you got to give it all away. Trust God. Yeah, it'll multiply. No. Instead, recognize where you're at in this point in your life. Recognize that you're a student and that you're going to need this money throughout the year. And if you plan it really well, if you plan it really well, it can last you. And by for a long time, and that can help serve your family. So you're taking care of yourself. You don't have to rely on your family as much to help out and contribute. Isn't that a great thing? And that's what we want. That's the loving thing to do. But your family, they may try and, oh, you got money. No, we got to fix this at home. We got this problem, that problem, the village. Life happens. There's always problems. But right now, you are a student. Your main job is to focus on your education and get that and finish that so you can get a job. And just recognize that is your way, and be sensible about it. You can't solve all the problems. This is where you're at any point in life. Okay, so be sensible. You may have to learn to say no when your family says to fix things at home. You gotta plan well. Plan well. Okay, the next verse, Proverbs 21:17. Those who love pleasure become poor. Those who love wine and luxury will never be rich. We've seen this over the years. Many students, when you get that NSFAF money, you feel rich, and they make some very poor choices. They'll go and spend it on a new phone, nice pleasure. They'll buy fancy clothes from True Worth, $400 shirts. And they love the luxury. You guys are students. You have to remember, try and use that money to stretch it out throughout the year as long as you can. Okay, those who love pleasure will become poor. If you waste your money on those things, it's going to make the whole rest of the year much more difficult. And we don't want that. We don't want you to have a difficult life. And if you just plan this money out well, it can really serve you and help you through some difficult times. That makes sense? That's what we want. Okay, don't spend your money on pleasure and nice things. You guys are students. Students! Your job now is to study, graduate, get a job, then enjoy your money. Okay? Then enjoy your nice phone and your nice clothes. And right now, you guys are students. Make sense? You can enjoy nice things later, but after you get that steady income. Okay? And so just keep that in mind. Your job, study, graduate, and get that job. Then go and enjoy your nice things. Make sense? All right, next verse, last one, then we will close it off. 2 Timothy 1:7. God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. And this is what, there's many verses we could look at about self-control, self-discipline. And you guys are adults. Now we're going to treat you as adults. I know your parents want to still treat you as children and tell you what to do. But listen to them, get their advice. It's great. But you have to learn this skill of controlling your money. You have to learn to discipline yourself. If you don't have self-control in this area, then your money's just going to be gone. And you'll be suffering and really struggling. And that's why we encourage you, make a budget. If you like this envelope idea, you can follow that. There's also apps on your smartphone you can use as well if you don't like the envelopes. But you have to, that budget really helps you have self-control. you may have to, you learn to say no. Remember, as students, your job is to study and graduate. Your job's not to fix all the problems at home. Build a new fence so the cows can stay in and the goats. Build a chicken coop because the chickens are multiplying. No, your job is to study, to graduate. So you may have to learn to say no to family when they say, no, we need help, we need this. That makes sense. It's not wrong to say no. You're an adult, your responsibility now is to graduate. Use your money, take care of yourself so that you can graduate. All right, and then I just want to lastly put, this wisdom and advice will help yourself and it will help your family if you live it out. Because if you can take care of yourself, then your family doesn't need to send you as much money. You're helping them as well. So we'll end it there. But if you want, we have lived a while. We have made a lot of mistakes. And we will gladly share with you our mistakes. We'll gladly share with you our successes. If you want advice about a budget, or if you have any questions, you are welcome just to ask, talk to us. We love you guys and want to help you. And we've made a lot of good decisions, and hopefully you can see that. With home, we have 2 cars, not to boast. But it's just when we live out biblical principles, you can actually live pretty nice, comfortable life. And we want that for you also. And I'll tell you very plainly, we're not going to ask you for any money. We're not going to tell you to give it to the church. The money that you get is very small. You need to utilize that very well to take care of yourself. So if you want any help or advice with that, please come to us. Doc, I'm sure you'd also be willing not to. If anyone wants any advice, I don't want to put words in your mouth. He's lived a little bit longer than us also, just a little bit. But we love you guys and want to help. And the Bible gives a lot of good advice. So with that, we will close it off. And let's just close in a prayer.